Hi guys, and welcome to day 13 of the Elevate Profit Challenge, where we're going to help you build out the first iteration of your financial analysis department. Okay, it's an important function in every business, so we're going to help you install the first kind of elements of it that are really going to help you grow up until around about £100,000 profit mark. Okay, so you don't need anything too complicated up until that point, but this is going to be a really good solution for you to really get on top of your numbers and start making good decisions based on what you find out. Okay, so what we've done so far is we've established your margins, as you can see here. So open up your margin calculator spreadsheet that we've created already. You can see we've worked out your margins based on your last year's financial history. And what we're doing now is we're installing a cash flow solution, or a way to keep on top of your income to make sure that there's always money in the pot for when you need it. So what we're going to go over today, before we get into actually building something out today, we're going to explain quickly how this is going to help you solve your cash flow troubles. And quite simply, it's a style of budgeting, or a new method of budgeting, that's going to help you really scrutinize where your money's going, and really force you to budget, or force you to set and stick to budgets that help your company stay in operation. Okay, so rather than spending willy-nilly, this is a really simple way that it's going to force your hand, force you to stick to certain spending budgets and certain spending limits, and really get on top of those numbers. So the question is, how does this actually help you set your budgets? Because budgeting is obviously something we all know is a good idea, but actually when it comes down to actually setting the budgets, it can often just feel like a stab in the dark. So, my marketing budget for this month is £500. That's not calculated, that's not worked out. That just seems like a nice round number for you to set. But actually, what we're doing here is we're going to help you identify exactly what it is that your budget should be, and then how to stick to that as well. So once you've got your margins worked out, everything else falls into place. We take those margin figures that we've got here, and what we do is any income that comes into the business, we distribute that income to these 7 different budgets. Okay, so your materials, VAT, profit, owners pay, tax, wages, expenses. We distribute any income that comes into the business, we distribute it into 7 separate budgets according to those margins that you've worked out. So you can already see why those margins are so important. Any income is distributed into 7 separate budgets. Okay. What that does is that builds up spending pots for you to use on your day-to-day business. And simply, if you don't have it in that budget pot, you don't spend it. Okay. And it's as simple as that. And what this is, it's a daily, weekly task to go into your bank, find out all your income, and distribute it accordingly into those budget pots. And then whenever you're looking to spend, rather than having one bank balance to look at where you're not quite sure what's for what purpose, you can actually see, oh, my bank balance says £5,000. Well, I've got £5,000. It's actually not the case. It's my bank balance says £5,000. 2,000 of that's for materials. 2,000 of that's for expenses on a job, or whatever it all works out as for you and your company. You know exactly how that bank balance and that cash balance breaks down, and what you have available to spend. Okay, so today we're going to build out one of the sheets. For the example, we're going to build out the materials pot and the sheet that's going to help you track that and stay on top of that. Okay, so it's a really simple sheet. Really simple. You'll see in a second how simple it is. And then we're going to do the same for each of these categories in each of these pots. In fact, let's do 2 of them today. Let's do the materials and the VAT. We'll do 2 of the pots today, so we know what we're doing, practice it once, and then we'll build out a second one whilst we're at it. Okay, so let's dive into how exactly we're going to build out those sheets. The first thing I suggest doing, because I haven't done it already, is just renaming these sheets here. So sheet 1, sheet 4, we're going to name them. This one is your margin calculator, so let's just name that margin calculator. And this one here, sheet 4, is from yesterday, or the day before it might have been. And this is your income sheet. Okay, so this is your income sheet. Again, just name that so you don't get confused later on. And then today, what we're going to do is we're going to build out the materials budget. And also, while we're here, we might as well do it and rename it as you go. And this is going to be the VAT budget. Okay, so these are going to behave very differently. Obviously, your materials budget is going to be used pretty much all the time, and you're going to have to dip in and out of that. It's going to be really important for you to be able to stick to the materials costs on your projects. Okay, so if you've got X amount in the pot for your materials, then you know that's how much you've got to spend, which is going to be handy. And the VAT budget, that's going to be a little bit simpler. That's just going to build up and build up and build up over the course of 3 months. And then at the end of your quarter, if you're on the standard VAT accounting method, you're just going to be able to pay your VAT bill out of that pot. So it saves you just dumping 20% across and ruining your cash flow that way. You can just build it up gradually. And then when it comes to VAT time, you should have it in this pot ready to go. Okay, so let me just quickly show you how to build out these pages. Really, really simple, like I said. So let's just label this one materials budget. We want 2 columns. We want an income column and a spend column. And then what we also want is a budget, total budget box, let's say. So as I said, it's really, really easy. This entire sheet is just one formula. And it's a couple of sum formulas, which is great. We've done lots of those. We need those. And what we're doing is we're just summing the entire of column A. So we start from A4 all the way down to the bottom of A, which is this formula here, A4 colon A. And that'll sum all that. And what we're doing, obviously, is taking away the sum of all the spend in that category. So that's B4 and B. That's not right. B4 and B. I said it out loud. I said B4 and B. But I put B4 and 4. It's not what we want. Okay, so that will give you your total budget. I've done it in the wrong box. Let's just drag that across. So that'll give you all of your income. Let's say 10,000, whatever, going into your budget pot. In it goes, great. And then say we spent £4,000 on materials. Take that out. Boom. You've got a £6,000 budget. Simple as that. Okay, and then we might as well just copy that whole sheet, put that into the VAT budget. Rename it VAT budget instead. And you've got income, spends, let's say a couple of VAT bits have come in, and then we had a VAT bill of, say, £4,600. We've got that much in the budget still. Perfect. So that works absolutely fine. And actually, this is much quicker than even though I kind of thought it would be in my head. I knew it'd be short, but actually it's really short. So what we might as well do is do them all. So we've got profit, owner's pay, tax, wages, expenses. So we might as well set up a budget sheet for each of those. It seems how quick it is. So profit budget. Owner's pay budget. And we've got a tax budget. Not a budget, a budget. Then we should have a wages budget and an expenses budget. And I believe I haven't missed anything off there. So wages budget and an expense budget. Again, rename that. There we go, perfect. And what we can do, I don't know if it'll already still have it saved. I doubt it. We can try and paste that across, see what happens. It has worked. Cool, perfect. So let's just rename that expenses budget. And this one's going to be the same. Paste that in there and rename it as your wages budget. Tax budget. Let's go into there as well. It's nice and slow to process, which is what we like to see. Tax budget. Owner's pay budget, get that in there. Perfect. And the last one, profit budget. We might as well do them all today. I didn't realize just quite how quick it would be. We might as well do them all. whilst we're here. And then tomorrow we can get straight into exactly how it is that we use it. So these budgets are all set up for you. And effectively, what we do on this daily income sheet, we'll go over it tomorrow. But for example, we bring up your bank account, say for the last week or so, we put all the income columns in here, all the income that's in that have come in the last whatever period you're using into here. That distributes it into these amounts that need to go into each pot. So it splits down the income into the various budget pots. And then what your job would be, for example, if say £5,206.53, you go into each budget, £5,206.53. And that keeps track of your materials budget. And then obviously during that same period, any spend that's gone out on materials during that same time period is taken out. And then that'll give you your running total of your budgets. Okay, so we do that once a week, once a day. But what we're going to do over the coming days, we're going to go over some actual examples and some actual demonstrations of how this will work using some live data. Okay, so what we'll perhaps do is we'll take the data from January. It might be a quieter month because it normally is for our industry, but we'll take the data for the last couple of weeks and we'll go in through that and we'll break that down day by day, and we will show you how these cash flow budgeting sheets can actually help you stay on top of your cash flow and your spending. Okay, so that's it for today. We've built out the sheets. We actually did a bit more than I thought we were going to do because it was so quick. But that's all for today. If you want to check back in tomorrow, like I said, we're going to be going over some sort of live examples of some live data as to how we can keep track of that using these spreadsheets with our actual live data. Okay, so any questions in the meantime, give me a shout. But if not, we'll be back tomorrow. Cheers, guys.